Mike, a 2-1 victory against Knaresborough. What were your overall thoughts on that game?
I'm happy we've won it, obviously. We kind of tried to take the positives out of Saturday, that it's another competitive game of football before we start league action. I didn't really want it to go as deep as it has, but there was certain circumstances in the game that made that happen. So, yeah, to win the game, really, really happy. I think we asked for a reaction from an intensity point of view compared to Saturday because it wasn't good enough. We kind of went through a little bit of the motions on Saturday in relation to sort of how we moved the ball. It was a tight pitch, it was a tough pitch to play on. So coming back here, we wanted to see that increase, and it did. So we're really happy that we've got the result. I feel like we could have probably wrapped it up earlier than we did. But at the end of the day, it's a W, and we're in the next round.
When there was a penalty shout in the second half, that was waved away by the ref. Do you think that gave the lads fired up?
Yeah, I think so. I think it sort of galvanised us a little bit. I'll be brutally honest. I think we played better when we went down to 10 men. There was the character that came out of them, and the desire to not get beat. Really came out of them, and going the full distance into extra time. We've played 60 minutes with 10 men, and again, I don't want to be too brutal about it. I feel like we've been by far the dominant team in doing that. So yes, you can leave yourself a little bit open because we pushed we pushed our centre halves on a little bit. We put Tom on the left hand side of a 3, and he spent more time in their box than our own. So it can cause you to be a little bit open, but I think in doing that, he put a great ball in the box, and it was a great header by Ahmed. To get us back in the game. So yeah, I think penalty shout, yeah, probably galvanised us, but going down to 10 men really sort of got us in the nitty gritty of not wanting to get beaten.
What was you happy with more with about today then on Saturday?
I think intensity, like I've just said, it was a tough pitch to play on at their place, and we struggled with it. And the default setting was to go long, and it didn't really work for us. But I think today that intensity was there, and then the character, I think, is another big thing. Once we went down to 10 men, that we got ourselves through the game.
What was the main thing that you focused on in the training session between Saturday and today?
Just again, we always concentrate on our shape. We want to make sure that the boys understand the way we want them to play. Especially here, we're capable of doing it because the pitch is big. And we can move teams around. I think we're fit, so we've got that capability, and we've got the joy of having latest training to rehab ourselves as well. So that's going to be really key, because I didn't want a few of these boys to have to play the minutes that they've played tonight before our first league game of the season. So they've got to look after the bodies between now and Ashington at home on Saturday.
Yeah, as you say, moving on to Saturday, we play Ashington at home. How do you plan to prepare for that one?
Well, that's our bread and butter, right? We're not going to get to the final of the FA Cup, but we can go really deep in the league this year. And I like the squad that we've got. I think we've built something that's a lot more robust than we had last year. You can see the quality that we've brought in. I think we're still a little bit rusty, I'll be brutally honest. We've got little patterns to work on, and we've got boys to understand each other still. But the league's bread and butter, and I think we've been dealt a pretty nice hand for our first few. So we want to take advantage, and we've got our own targets. I'll keep them in house. But yeah, it all starts on Saturday, and we're pumped for it.
Mike, thank you very much for your time.
Cheers, guys.